Hello everybody, Nostalgic here. We are back for the third episode of Season 6. So, I'll say this. The sneak peek really took one story beat. And I'm saying it now. The sneak preview took one important story beat out of the equation for this video. And that is the retirement of the Fat controller. That really caught me off guard. So let me say this before we even begin this video. Victor, whatever you do, when you release a sneak peek, don't just drop the ball like that. Don't. I know a bigger one would have been if you showed who was replacing Sir Topham Hatt, but my god. Now, from what I'm seeing here, this is the exact scene that I am referring to. Ah, jeez. Victor, I love your work, but please, when it comes to sneak peeks, don't drop anything important. For the first preview, that was fine. For the second preview, that was fine too. You left us in mystery on both of them. But for the third one, you just dropped the ball immediately. But now getting into the video, we see it's called Leadership. And because the sneak preview, we now know that the Fat controller is about to retire. So, let's see what's gonna go on in this video. In 3, 2, 1, let's begin.
Ow! 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 Fizzling fireboxes! Don't you mean fizzling fuses? I guess.
Oh, right. This is because of the fact that they are still on the edge with, trying to do steam diesel conversion. So, I get the pain. I do, in all honesty. If they didn't have this sort of pain while going through the procedure from converting from steam to diesel, it does feel a bit weird.
What's going on, Rob? Something must have come loose. I'll have it fixed in 3, 2, 1. How's that? Much better. Thank you. That was very unpleasant. More like shocking. Oh, don't
That joke didn't click well.
give up your day job, pal. How's life as a diesel, Donny? Pretty good, actually. It's great only needing one source of fuel. If I had one complaint, it'd be this.
Agreed. Okay, the point of a steam engine is that it's operated by steam. But because of the fact that they are operated by diesel, they cannot use their whistles anymore. They are more like horns now. Instead of going beep, beep, they go bah, bah. And it doesn't really click well with me either. If anything, I'm willing to bet that they might change this whistle to the whistles that Donald and Douglas had from Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure onwards.
Ugh, that does not suit me. Can you do anything about that, Rob? Maybe. Let me think about it. I'm sure.
There we go. It might happen.
I'll come up with something. I'm sure you will too. Oh, hello, Sir Topham. What brings you out this late? I have a couple of announcements to make. First, Head Office has delivered its final report on the recent inspection. We've been cleared of any wrongdoing. Gee, what a shock.
Finally! Honestly, I mean it. Last time when we were here, they said something about an inspection that would happen from Head Office, but we never truly got the results of it at the end of the episode last time. This time, however, we are getting the results. So, let's see how things are going to play out.
That was a real pain in the bunker. Agreed. Congratulations, Sir Topham. We never had any doubt. This was a victory for all of us, Edward, not just me. With that being said, it'll be nice to go out on a high note. A high note, sir? Yes, the second thing I want to announce is my retirement.
I would be shocked. Truly. I would be shocked at this. But again, it was ruined for me in the preview. A lot of things to talk about, I know, but then again, this, again, like I said in the beginning, was ruined in the preview. This would have been a real shock to start with. But, at the very least, it will be a bit of a shock to see who replaces Sir Topham. I am quite afraid as to who it might be, though.
Sir? You heard me, Edward. Is it because of the inspection, sir? No, that's just bad timing. I've been planning this for a while. Truth be told, I was going to retire last year, but didn't for obvious reasons. Then why, sir?
The obvious reasons being, well, everything that had happened in 1965.
Because it's time. I've been in this industry for nearly 50 years. I'm not a young man anymore. Whatever years I have left, I want to spend with my family. Are you gonna be leaving the island, sir? Oh no, I plan on spending those remaining years here. You won't get rid of me that easily. Who's going to replace you, sir? I don't know, but whoever they are, I trust you will make them feel welcome.
In all honesty, I do like that line, you cannot get rid of me that easily. I have a feeling that maybe at some point, either during this episode or later down the line in the series, this line might come back. But, again, this is the retirement of Sir Topham Hatt. And if it truly is, then I'll say this. It was nice knowing you in the series, Sir Topham Hatt.
Absolutely, sir. I think I speak for everyone when I say it's been an honor to work for you. The honor was all mine. You are easily the finest engines I have ever had the privilege of knowing. Your dedication and determination is without compare. You made my job easy, and I can't thank you enough. All right, I better move on before I start blubbing. Good night, engines. Blimey, I never thought this day would come. Me neither. Good on him, though. Agreed. And I don't envy whoever has to follow in his footsteps. I wonder who it'll be. Well, like Sir Topham said, whoever it is, we'll make them feel welcome.
Unless it's an old friend, and I use the term friend extremely loosely. Because it could be someone from the past of the stories of Sodor who has a history with the island. Wow. For this time, we are 2 minutes and 34 seconds into the intro. And with my blabbing, it's now 8 minutes and 13 seconds. I'm sorry about this, guys. I really am. Let's watch the intro.
The train, for its type, is the most powerful vehicle on land. And the engines of Sodor are the power behind the docks, industries, and branch lines that make up the world-renowned Northwestern Railway. These are the stories of Sodor. Naturally, everyone was shocked by Sir Topham's decision to retire. It was inconceivable that he ever would. Nonetheless, we were very supportive and did everything we could to ensure his final weeks ran smoothly. And I'm pleased to say we were successful. There were no major issues and everything ran like clockwork. On his last day, a massive party was held to celebrate his accomplishments and to wish him well. Not long afterwards, our new controller arrived. Good day, engines. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ronald Watson. How do you do, Mr. Watson? Welcome to Sodor. I'm Edward. This is Bruce and Rosie. Hello, sir. Hi there, sir. Nice to meet you. Likewise. Is something wrong, sir? I wouldn't say wrong. I had heard many of the engines in this region were a little long in the tooth, but to see you for myself. Some of us may be getting on in years, sir, but we're all as sprightly as the day we were built. I assume that also means none of you have thought about retiring? No, sir. Pity. And why is that?
Okay, this controller is gonna get on my nerves. This man should not be replacing Sir Topham. Seriously, why? Why? Seriously, at this point, no, I'm saying it now. This motherfucker. I want to kill him already. Seriously. Sodor, in my opinion, even whether it's in the context of the official show or the stories of Sodor or any other fan series, period, I always see Sodor as a heritage railway. Alright? A heritage railway which works with some retired engines who are currently scrapped or some which are still preserved in England. Examples of this include the fact that while Thomas isn't currently on Sodor in this series, his bases, all of them, are currently scrapped. And Thomas is the only survivor on the island of Sodor. For example, Henry, some of his class were scrapped, the Black Fives. And some Black Fives are still preserved. So, in all honesty, the fact that they say that this controller says that the steam engines like Edward, Rosie, they should be retiring. I hate him. I hate this guy. I mean it. Already, first impression, I hate him.
Hatt, never mind. Tell me about this yard. Where is all this traffic coming from? Brendam Docks and the mainland. Trains that need to be moved between either places are assembled here first. That seems rather inefficient. There has to be a better way. Nobody's thought of one yet. Then it's a good thing I'm here. I have ample experience when it comes to streamlining operations and improving efficiency.
Yeah, streamlining operations and efficiencies, my ass. You already started your sentences by saying, oh, well, some of you engines are getting on in years. Why don't you consider retiring? Oh, fuck you already. I hate you.
Which way is Brendam Docks? Directly south of here. I'll be headed there soon. I'd be happy to take you. That won't be necessary. I'll drive. Excuse me, engines. Anybody else not liking this guy? Yep, it's a good thing I'm here. Indeed. Humble fellow, isn't he?
You read my mind all too well, Victor Tanzig. You really do. Oh. Oh, man. Right, let's continue.
And all his talk about streamlining and improving efficiency? Why does he remind me of Beeching? At least the good doctor didn't have an issue with my age.
Oh. Oh my god. Wow. A shot in the dark. I'm referring to a bit of a notable character from Season 4 because of the whole Dr. Beeching's streamlining thing from back in Season 4. You know, around the time dieselization and modernization were happening throughout 1946, I think. Yeah, 1946 up to 1955. No. What am I talking about? 1955 or 1956, all the way up to around 1965 or 64. Something along those lines.
I pity the next engines he comes across that are also long in the tooth.
Jesus, if Adam was here... actually, no. If any of the Wellsworth and Sudbury engines were there, or even those who had possibly died around the time of World War II, or whenever, even after World War II. I honestly think they would react in this negative way. Wow, I mean it. At this point, I'm agreeing with the engines. This motherfucker who has taken over from Sir Topham Hatt is an absolute asshole. Oh, shit.
I don't believe it. A pair of Caledonian 812s. You know about our class, sir? My grandfather worked on the Caledonian Railway. He used to say the 812s would be useful for the next 100 years. Sounds like a wise man. He currently resides in a nursing home because he thinks the Kaiser is trying to kill him. I assume you two have no interest in retiring? No, sir. Certainly not, sir. I can go for another 100 years, even without the conversion. So you've undergone steam diesel conversion? What a complete joke. It would be far cheaper and easier to buy an actual diesel, I suppose.
One moment. I hate him. Seriously. Get him out of this episode. Seriously. Because aside from the engines and the Fat Controller, I'm saying it now. The Fat Controller and the engines are the only likable things in this episode. This motherfucker is rage-inducing. No cards pulled, no coins flipped, but certainly I am getting triggered.
Suppose it would, but SDC is meant to give lads like us a new lease on life while improving our performance. And has your performance been improved? Yes, sir, and so has Barry's. If you read our files, you'll see that for yourself. All in due time, Donald. For now, I just have one question. Isn't a diesel's fuel supposed to be internal? Ah, damn it.
What? Wait, what happened there?
He was so smug after that. Sounds like Watson. You know him? Oh yes, he's BR's financial hitman. Anytime a region is underperforming, head office sends him in. Efficiency and economies are his bread and butter. Doesn't sound like he's too fond of steam diesel conversion. He's not. Back in '62, I first submitted SDC to BR's new projects panel. He was the chairman. He was very much against it. Called it a senseless waste of time and resources.
So, a long-standing rivalry, eh? Let's see how this will turn out. And if anything, I'll say this. Rob would actually be a much better controller than this Watson fellow. Because let's face it, Rob, alright, he has a bit of a history because of his brother, his family, but he sees the engines as his equals. He doesn't seem to see anyone above the other. So, why not him? Why not Rob? Besides, Watson, I'm sorry, he's not a likable character. The only people I can see praising him are those who don't like steam engines or trains in general. No, actually, those who don't like steam engines, period.
Interesting, especially the part about his close ties to head office. Why's that? Well, I find it strange they'd appoint one of their lapdogs to a position so soon after an inspection targeted at his predecessor. You think they were trying to force Sir Topham out to make way for him? There's coincidence, and then there's opportunity. I don't know. If they were trying to give Sir Topham the boot, why didn't they? I don't know, but there's one thing I'm certain of. He sounds like a man who has no problem making drastic changes. And unfortunately, I was right. Almost immediately, our new controller went on an economy drive. Over the following weeks, he closed several facilities, sacked countless staff, and streamlined operations. To clarify that last point, instead of running multiple goods trains, he condensed them into several larger services. These would often require 2 or 3 engines to pull, which could be very tiring at times.
Those would wear an engine out in seconds. Okay, granted, there are many types of steam engines and diesel engines with the strength and capacity to handle those sorts of long, heavy goods trains. Hell, Murdoch proved that he could handle over 40 wagons. But to see this, and even more so, I see Boko straining. So it isn't right.
Times. To be fair, this did make us more efficient, and Mr. Watson would often thank us. But that didn't stop him from making the occasional remark to those of us that were long in the tooth. This came to a head, for me at least, when he returned to Brendan to reveal his grand design for the branch.
What is he going to say this time?
If we upgrade the junction near the vicarage so that it connects to the upline, trains could travel directly between here and the mainland. Wouldn't that make the yard obsolete? Of course, in which case we close it down, salvage what we can and sell off the land. We're bound to make a tidy sum from such a project. Is money the only thing that matters to you, Mr. Watson? Let's not be naive, Edward. Money is important. You can't run a business if it isn't profitable. And I suppose chaps like me are a drain on those profits.
This motherfucker is the Scrooge McDuck of the Stories of Sodor universe. You cannot convince me otherwise. Because look at what he's doing. This is... No, you cannot just close down a yard just because it's not profitable. Alright, granted, you can do that because, surely, yes, you are a financial advisor and you were a financial advisor at head office of BR. But still, and even more so with what Edward just said, that he himself is a strain on all of that? No, Edward, you know better than this. Okay, okay, he said in our sarcastic manner, so fuck it.
I wasn't going to say that, but since you bring it up, engines like you require a lot of capital to maintain and operate. But if I retired, it wouldn't be your problem anymore. I wasn't going to say that either. But since you also bring it up, why don't you retire? You've been in service for decades. You've fought in a war. If anyone deserves to enjoy their twilight years, it's you. Maybe, sir, but I enjoy working. I like being useful, and I want to be useful for as long as possible.
And that brings up one topic that the Unlucky Tug said. The engines are basically dogs. They live to work. They live to serve their purpose. Like, for example, a toy like a Lego minifigure, I'm holding up this Lloyd figure right now, their purpose is to be played with. And if they are handed down to another person within the next few years, then they will have served their purpose for one person and are going to continue to serve their purpose to the next person. Or dogs, they live to love their owners and for their owners to love them. So the engines are basically dogs. They love the people that they serve because of the fact that they carry them. They carry goods for them. This is the true operation of a railway. So you can't just say that these engines are like human beings and need to be freed from some kind of tyrannical reign. No. The engines live to work because they may be fictional engines, but they are still real vehicles that need to do a job.
On the surface, that's admirable, Edward, but I also think it's a tad selfish. Excuse me, sir? How many younger engines could take your place and have a full career? I'm sure your record is very impressive, so why risk compromising your legacy? My legacy will be fine, and you're sure my record is impressive? Is that to say you haven't read it? Not yet. I've been extremely busy, but I am currently working through the files of every engine.
If you hadn't read the files, then what is the point in opening your mouth and saying that they have served their purpose?
I see. Well, after you've read mine, I'll be willing to accept your apology. If you'll excuse me, I must be off. Donald and I have to doublehead the 1:30 to Wellsworth. The bloody cheek! How is it selfish to want to work? Good on you for telling him off. It was very satisfying, no mistake, and I'm sure he'll make a note of it in my file when he reads it, if he reads it. Head office must be so proud of their little stooge. Are you still thinking about that? I can't help it, Donald. It just seems so plausible. That doesn't mean it's true or false. I never figured you for a conspiracy theorist. Well, if I'm wrong, I'll apologize to the man. In the meantime, you'll wallow in your delusion. Fine, each to their own. But if...
Actually, this is kind of new for Stories of Sodor. The shot in which the train is going by with the engines talking. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Okay, granted, we've seen it a few times before. Like, for example, when Henry and Boko had the discussion when Boko broke down with the Express. But I've never actually seen this shot in which Edward and Donald are talking and this long train just goes by without them stopping, or even more so, going to a particular shot on their face. So, good job, Victor. Something different. I like it.
If we can get back to the real world for a moment, what do you think about his idea for the junction? I hate to say it, but it's a good one. I'm surprised nobody's thought of it before. I do feel sorry for the chaps that'll lose their jobs at Wellsworth. All of them? All right, maybe not all. Holgate's had it coming for...
Oh god, what's gonna go wrong this time?
Ah, Fislin, fuses! What happened? My generator failed. Can you restart it? No, it's completely dead. I'm sorry, Edward. You'll have to go ahead and get help. Oh, I'll go ahead, all right. Edward, what are you doing? You can't pull me in this train on your own. Watch me.
One of the most inspiring moments in YouTube history. I'm saying it now. Look at Edward. He saw that Donald had broken down. Donald said, go get help. But Edward said, no, I am going to pull you and this train to the next station, even if it kills me. Alright, he's straining a bit, but he's making a very impressive effort. This is sort of reminding me of Super Rescue, where Henry had to push Bear's train while also pulling D199's train. So, lovely inspiration, and even more so, I don't even know what to say. This moment here has left me speechless.
Donald, I should start charging you rent. And if I'd paid for the conversion, I'd demand a refund.
Good. Finally, a joke. I miss jokes, bro.
What's going on, Rob? Why am I having so many problems? Barry didn't. I think we got lucky with Barry. Not to mention he is considerably younger than you, so it might not work for older engines. Watson's going to love hearing that. Hardly. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Hall? It's possible, sir. It's also possible these are just teething problems. With enough time and the proper budget, I'm sure we can resolve them. Very well. Excuse me, sir? You heard me, Donald. I'm willing to give this a chance. After reading your file, I'd be a fool if I didn't. Despite your recent issues, there has been a notable improvement in your performance. And as for Barry, well, I can't argue with results. So I'm authorized to make the necessary repairs? You are. Assuming Donald doesn't want to be converted back to a steamy. No, sir. I believe in this project. I admire your dedication. That seems to be a common trait amongst the engines of Sodor. So you've read all our files? Not all. I still have a few left, including Edwards. Speaking of whom, is he here? No, sir. They checked him out at Wellsworth. They couldn't find anything wrong, so he went back to work. Even after he dragged you all that way. Wasn't he tired? A wee bit, sir. But that's our Edward, determined to get the job done. I see. Well, if you'll excuse me, I have some reading to do.
Very good. Finally, this character is becoming a whole lot more better. He's developing from the, oh, you're out of date and you shouldn't be working anymore, to I admire your determination and your dedication. Jesus, this is actually turning out better than I expected. And yeah, I'm happy with this.
He's surprisingly reasonable. I'll say he almost comes across as human. I wouldn't go that far. You think you can fix me, Rob? Yes. With a little tinkering, you'll be right as rain. I'll start with your whistle. Good morning, Mr. Watson. Good morning, Edward. And thank you. For what? For proving me wrong. I need the occasional lesson in humility. What you did yesterday was nothing short of remarkable. And after reading your file, I have learned it is one of many, many triumphs to your name. Does your offer still stand? It does, sir. Then I apologize. Not just for underestimating you, but for undervaluing you. You're a real asset to this railway, and I'm proud to have you here. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I need to make an apology myself. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I know about your conspiracy theory, Edward. You do? Why didn't you say anything? Because there might be some truth to it. During the inspection, they made copies of your financial records. I don't know if you're aware of this, but last year's events really crippled them. As one of BR's top accountants, I was appointed controller on the understanding I'd rebalance the books. And what if Sir Topham hadn't retired? He would have kept his position. So this was all good timing, or bad, depending on your perspective. Nobody wanted to give Sir Topham the boot, Edward. He was an invaluable member of British Rail. Yes, he was. He also didn't keep secrets from us. We knew we were in debt, but Sir Topham was confident we would recover in time. I prefer to be proactive in such matters, but I also believe he was right. With chaps like you working here, I'm sure this region will return to profitability in short order. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some apologies to make. I'm pleased to say Mr. Watson made amends with every engine he offended, which was practically all of us. Over time, our new controller proved to be just as capable as Sir Topham. In fact, the pair would meet on occasion, with Mr. Watson often asking his predecessor for advice. He would end the economy drive a few weeks later, and as much as I hate to say it, it would be beneficial in the long run. The northwestern region became profitable once again, enabling more engines to undergo conversion. On that note, Donald was successfully repaired, whistle and all. Not long after he returned to service, work began on upgrading the junction. I'll talk more about that next time, but suffice to say, it had unintended consequences.
Oh boy! Well, this episode was something. Okay. Time for my final thoughts. This episode was... I don't even know what to say about it. Like, seriously, at the beginning, I hated the new controller. But at the very least, he did get some character growth near to the end of the episode, so I'm liking that. And also the fact that Donald's whistle was repaired. Okay, I'll admit this. It is fine, but still, it would have been nice if, for example, Victor made just a tiny little wink to the fans, saying, "Yeah, I'll put Donald's CGI whistle in there." But no, he actually decided to return it to the whistle from the classic series. I don't have a problem with the classic series whistle. It's all fine to me. Oh, but I am interested to see what happens with Dudley next episode. Because as we know, he is a pretty controversial character in terms of being on the island of Sodor. He's a fan favorite villain, in all honesty. But how will they do this? Bear is not in the stories of Sodor as of yet. There was an opportunity for it in the first draft of Recovery, but again, there's just... Why? Why bring Dudley in? But still, this episode was enjoyable. And even more so, I got to show a bit of a more rageful side. So, yeah. But with that, everybody, that's going to do it for this reaction. Thank you all very much for watching. This is Nostalgic signing off and reminding you all that nostalgia never dies. But before I go, I bet people are often questioning why I am wearing glasses now during my reactions. Well, the thing is, I had my eyes checked at one point, and apparently I need these whenever I am watching YouTube videos and watching television as well. So, yeah, if you wanted to know the reason why I was wearing glasses, there's your answer. But with that, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.